Hey guys, welcome back to IDB. My name is Michael. In this video, I'm showing you how to use the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max. I have 10 essential tips and tricks I think you're really gonna like if you're using this new iPhone. Let's go ahead, roll the intro, and jump right in. Alright, so first up is the front-facing camera. The iPhone 17 Pro and actually the entire iPhone lineup this year has a pretty impressive update to the front-facing selfie camera. So if I go into the camera app here, you can see when we're in selfie mode, we now actually have two buttons at the bottom. So we did have this button before, which would make your field of view wider. But now on the iPhone 17 Pro and all the other iPhones, as I mentioned, we now have a new button, and if we click this, it's going to make our selfie landscape mode. This is probably going to be the #1 favorite feature of a lot of people that get this phone because so many people take selfies on their iPhone, and when you want to take a group selfie, it's kind of awkward to hold your phone like this. And you have to kind of put your finger up here and your pinky down here and use your thumb to take the photo. It's just horrible. But now on the new iPhone, you can click one button and you can get the aspect ratio that you want while still holding the iPhone comfortably. On top of this, we actually do have some different settings as well. So if you click on the new center stage button here at the top of the screen, you can see we have some settings that we can change. So the first one is auto zoom. So if the iPhone detects people enter the frame, it can automatically do this crop thing for you without hitting the button. And then the other setting is auto rotate. So again, if you turn that one on, as soon as it detects even more people are entering the frame, on top of making it wider, it's also going to go into horizontal mode for you as well. So I'd recommend turning both of these on so you get the best experience on the iPhone. This is using AI to detect how many people are in the picture. And this is a pretty cool new feature on the new iPhone, and I think a lot of people are going to love this. Next, at #2 is charging. The new iPhone 17 and the 17 Pro lineup now supports 40-watt charging. This means that when you plug in your iPhone using a 40-watt or higher wall adapter, you can go from 0 to 50% in only 20 minutes. The iPhones before this did support semi-fast charging. I believe you required a 30-watt wall adapter, and that let you go from 0 to 50% in 30 minutes. So now Apple has shaved off a third of that time, and you can now get the exact same charge level in only 20 minutes. You can find a bunch of chargers on Amazon. This video isn't sponsored or anything. This is just one of my favorite ones. This is from Ugreen. This is a 100-watt wall adapter, and this means that you'll be able to charge your iPhone at full speed and also charge a MacBook or an iPad. Again, they're not sponsored, but you can find a bunch of these on Amazon. This one from Ugreen is one of my favorites. So if you want to take advantage of fast charging on the new iPhone, when you're searching the web, make sure you get a charger that's at least 40 watts or higher. Next, at #3 is eSIM. So the iPhone is now eSIM only in a lot more countries than just the United States. And that goes for me as well. I'm in Canada and this iPhone no longer has a SIM tray. I had to switch over to eSIM. And there actually are some tips and tricks I want to share with you in terms of how you can use eSIM. So you want to go ahead and open up settings. Then you want to click on cellular right here. And then once you click on cellular, you want to scroll down. I just kind of have my phone number hidden up there, but you'll see we have an option called Add eSIM. And if you click on this, it'll give you a few different options to add an eSIM to your iPhone. You can transfer from a nearby iPhone. You can use a QR code that is provided by your carrier. You can transfer from an Android phone, and you can also view different travel options if you plan on roaming using an eSIM. One of my tips and tricks I want to share with you is I'd recommend converting your physical SIM on your old iPhone into an eSIM before you get this iPhone. So here's what I did, for example. I have my iPhone 16 Pro. You can see this is an older iPhone and it does have a SIM card tray. When you go into cellular settings on that iPhone, you are going to see an option right in here showing your physical SIM card. And if your carrier supports it, which most of them do, you'll see a button that will say convert to eSIM. Click on it. It'll take 3, 4, 5 minutes. And then you can just pop out your physical SIM and throw it away. And then your old iPhone is now running eSIM. The reason you want to do that is because you want to get the eSIM transfer out of the way before you even get your new phone. Because the worst thing is getting your new phone and then realizing that you're not ready to switch over your eSIM. So once your eSIM is working on your old phone, it's really easy to switch it over to your new one. Next up at #4 is another one for the camera. This is called dual capture video. So here in the camera, if you switch over to video, you'll notice that the UI looks like the normal iOS 26 UI. However, if you swipe up from the bottom, you'll see there's a new mode here called dual capture. And if we click on this, you can see it's now recording from the back camera and the front camera on my iPhone. This is going to be great, for example, if you're on holidays and you want to showcase something that you're looking at, but you also want to show your reaction from the front-facing camera. What I really like about this feature is when you're recording, you can take your little window and you can flick it around and move it. And then in the final product, when you're watching the video, you can see that window is actually going to move. And you can see Apple actually added some motion blur to that UI. So it's just one of those attention to detail things that I really like from Apple. You can see it kind of has some blur to it as it's moving around. So it's pretty darn cool. I do wish that we had the option to save both video files, but unfortunately it's baked into the final output file for the video. So wherever you have this window placed, that's where it's going to show up in your final video. Next up at number 5 is an all-new toggle in iOS 26 for these iPhones specifically that allows you to disable pulse width modulation. So what the heck is that? Essentially, OLED displays like the ones on this iPhone have a unique way of dimming their display, and some people have a sensitivity to this. And if you don't have this, you kind of have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you experience sensitivity from OLED displays, you know exactly what I'm saying, because it can cause eye strain and it can also cause headaches. I'm one of the fortunate ones, I don't have this, but if you do suffer from fatigue from looking at OLED displays, there's an all new toggle inside of settings. So you want to scroll down, then click on accessibility, then click on display and text size. Then scroll down and you have a new option here called display pulse smoothing. People that have the sensitivity to this notice it at lower brightnesses. So Apple does say that the quality of the display and the brightness could be affected when you turn this on. But if you have that type of sensitivity to OLED displays, it's really nice that this toggle is now here inside of settings. And then for the next thing I want to show you, we're going to stay inside of accessibility and also go back to display and text size. You want to scroll all the way to the bottom and you want to ensure that auto brightness is turned on. A lot of people have this turned off by default, and if you do a restore from iCloud, it may turn this off. So I want to make sure you have this turned on because the new iPhone 17 Pro can go up to 3000 nits of peak brightness. And if you have auto brightness turned off, you're not going to get to experience that ultra high level of brightness when you're out in the sunlight. So my iPhone 16 Pro went up to 2000 nits and that display was plenty bright for me. So the fact that this iPhone 17 Pro can now go up to 3000 nits, you're not going to have any issues viewing it outdoors. Just ensure that you have auto brightness turned on. And next up at number 7 is more of a software feature. So iOS 26 comes on these new iPhone 17 models, and there are some pretty cool customization features I want to show you. The first one is your lock screen. So you can see here, my clock is absolutely massive, and it has a pretty nice liquid glass look to it. So if you want to press and hold on the lock screen and then click on customize, you can make your clock as big or as small as you want. So you can go all the way up here, and you can make it the default small size, or you can drag it all the way down here and make it absurdly big. It's kind of nice that we now have this customization. And you'll notice if you make the clock really big, what Apple is doing is they're adding all of your widgets now to the bottom of your screen, which I think is a pretty nice change. And then adding on top of this customization, we have some new options for our icons as well. So if we press and hold on the screen, then click on edit, then click on customize, we can turn our icons clear. This looks really cool with the entire liquid glass UI on iOS 26 on this new iPhone. So if you're looking for a fresh, clean new look for your icons, we now have this new clear option. Next at number 8 is also a software feature. This one is inside of Photos. Go ahead and open up Photos and then choose any photo that has sort of a subject in the front with a defined background. Let's say this picture of this iPhone. You'll see here at the top right, we have an icon. And if we click on this, it's going to generate what it calls a spatial scene. Essentially, it's making this photo 3D. You can see after I generated that spatial scene, it almost looks like the phone is popping off the display here. And this is really, really cool. This feature also works especially well with pictures of pets and people. Next up at number 9 is an all-new power mode called Adaptive Power. Go ahead and open up Settings, then click on Battery, then scroll down and click on Power Mode. All new in iOS 26 is a new adaptive power mode. So this is a little bit better than low power mode because you can have this turned on all the time. And the iPhone is going to learn your usage, and it's actually going to dynamically change the way the CPU ramps up and ramps down. And over time, it should work to extend your battery life. Apple did say that it takes about 7 days to learn your usage. So turn this on when you first get your iPhone, and then after about a week, it's going to learn your usage patterns. And if you have notifications turned on for adaptive power, the iPhone is going to give you a drop-down notification every time it turns on. On my old iPhone, the iPhone 16 Pro, this actually supports adaptive power as well. And I noticed it came on quite a bit when I was outside and the screen brightness was really high and the phone was getting quite hot. So it definitely does work, and it was actually extending my battery life by, I'd say, 5 or 10%. And finally, at number 10, I want to talk about accessories. This one is pretty freaking cool. So here, this is the tech woven case. This is kind of replacing fine woven. It feels pretty good. It feels a little bit more durable than the fine woven. It's definitely not as soft, but I think it's going to wear a little bit better over time. So if you want to get a good case made by Apple, I'd recommend the tech woven, but that's not what I want to show you. So if you have one of the official Apple MagSafe cases, there's something pretty darn cool that you can do with your icons. So when you put it on your iPhone now actually knows the color of this case that you put on your iPhone. So this means if you click on customize for your icons up here, and then if you change it to tinted, you'll see here that there's actually a new logo for a case. You can see it's automatically selected. And you can see it has now made my icons the exact same color as this case, which is really, really cool. So if you really want to go with a matching vibe, let's say, for example, you get the green case, your icons will be green. I've mentioned the attention to detail before in this video, but this one is really cool. And it seems like Apple is finally making something out of the fact that these cases have NFC in them. So yeah, you should definitely try this out if you're going with one of the official Apple cases. Okay, that was all 10, but I actually have a bonus one I want to tell you because this one is pretty cool. So it has to do with the camera. So with this iPhone having such a giant camera bar, you might find yourself grabbing up here when you're holding the phone like this and getting your camera all smudged up. Luckily, the iPhone can actually tell you now if your camera is dirty. So if you click on Settings, then scroll down and click on Camera, then scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see we have a new option here called Lens Cleaning Hints. It says it'll display a suggestion when the camera lens should be cleaned. So Apple is going to recognize smudges, dirt, debris on your camera lens, and if you have this turned on, when you open up the camera, it's going to tell you, hey, you need to wipe off your camera to get a better photo. All right, so there we have it. Those are 10 essential tips and tricks for the iPhone 17 and 17 Pro Max. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and also comment down below telling us what you thought. With all that said, my name is Michael with IDB, signing off. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.